It's the Sittin Sportside Podcast.
Can't wait.
With Mike James.
Come on, man.
Matt Hogan.
It's going to be wait for it, legendary.
And Eric Hannmann.
I have dedicated my life to this team, okay?
On 1045theteam.com.
And welcome into the podcast, guys. I'm Eric Hannmann, along with Matt Hogan and Mike James. How you guys doing, guys?
I'm excited, man.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah, our first one.
Our first one. I guess the people need to know that. This is the beta testing, if you will.
So if it's terrible, please excuse us. But
Well, I mean, at least the opening was good, right?
Yeah, this could be our one and only podcast.
And at least we got...
I mean, if you don't listen to us via just
little
the
Neil Patrick
open,
Harris and
Jackie
Moon.
Chris Carter. Come
All
on,
right, so
man.
Top of the rundown is the Jets disaster. That's what I'm looking at right now, and I did not want to say it, but
That's like how the whole season's been, though. I mean, come on. What do you want
to start with? Do you want to see Hackenberg week 17?
I don't even want to see the
question.
Jets on the field in week 17. Let's be honest.
Right, but
I mean,
moving forward,
He should be on the field. I'm so sick and tired of seeing Ryan Fitzpatrick out there.
well, me too.
I mean, we know Bryce
trust me.
Petty's done. I mean, he's
done
done
as in this year, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
But
if throwing Fitzpatrick
week
out there, you
one-
might as well throw. Can we just re-sign Joe Willie Namath, for God's sakes, and put Joe Willie Namath at 85 years old out there on the field? He can't play any worse than Fitzpatrick.
Did you see his tweet, by the way, during this last game?
No.
What he said? He said, at least, thank God some of us are Alabama fans, too.
You know,
could Alabama beat the Jets?
I was getting ready to say that. I mean, everybody's talking about, can Alabama beat the Cleveland Browns this year? Why couldn't they beat the Jets? I mean, the Browns almost beat the Jets.
The Jets beat the Niners, and could the
'Cause that's saying something.
But could the Niners if Alabama could beat the Niners, then we can start talking about the Jets. No.
Valid point. I mean,
and can they beat the Niners? I hate these conversations anyway because we're talking about a college team and it's never going to happen either. So
It absolutely should.
let's get back to the topic, which is the Jets. And
I guess that basically describes it, though, right? That they are a disaster.
what about Todd Bowles?
I think Bowles. I think he's safe.
Monday?
I think he's safe, and I'll tell you why.
Because
if you look
kidney stone or
if you look at the team this
they
year,
don't want to give him two bad things.
they should have been this bad last year. Why? If you told me going into last year when Geno Smith was supposed to be their starting quarterback, going into that team who had no running back, and the first year Marshall and Decker together with Geno, I was scared. We had no running back.
You don't think if in a third consecutive week they get blown out by a division opponent, Woody Johnson's sitting there like,
yeah, but
you know what? Miami's in the playoffs.
Who are they going to hire?
It's not just the Patriots this time. It's also the Dolphins. The
but
division
who
rival.
they hire is a better question.
Well,
where would you go?
I mean, who does anyone hire? Who are the Rams going to hire? Who are the Bills possibly going to hire? I mean, that's the next topic we can jump into. In Buffalo, is Rex Ryan going to be gone?
Rex Ryan reunion? Bring him back?
Well,
Ryan's
in my
not dead.
opinion,
Rex Ryan reunion
Rex
there?
should have never left the Jets in the first place.
Well, that wasn't his choice.
Well, I was a Rex supporter, and I'm still a Rex supporter, even though he's in Buffalo. So as bad as it sounds, yes, I am a Jets fan, but last year when they beat us in Week 17 to knock us out of the playoffs, I said, bravo, Rex, bravo.
I said some other choice words. But we want to move ahead to the Bills. Are we done with the Jets? I mean, I'm done with the Jets.
I think it was done with them week 8.
But Hogan, Buffalo Bills, obviously out of the playoffs. Rex Ryan, if he's fired, which we all think he is, best possible scenario in terms of what coach they bring in.
Tom Coughlin.
Offensive, defensive, doesn't there,
See, honestly, I feel like they need an offensive coach.
Right.
Because I feel like they always
they have the offensive coordinator right now, right?
Yeah. So I don't know why. And here's another thing. There's been talks about Tyrod Taylor. Is he the future? Is he going to be your franchise quarterback?
Not with that contract.
That's another thing.
How
they're
is
gonna
that
have to
guy owed
address, too.
$40 million over the next 2 years? How? That's just ridiculous.
Well, that brings up another thing, too. If you look at, if Rex Ryan's going to go, what about the GM, Doug Whaley?
That's exactly. He's the
He
one
brought
that
Rex
brought him
Ryan in.
Yeah, that's
and
such
now
a good point.
We're talking about Tyrod Taylor's contract. Well, who gave Tyrod Taylor that contract?
But here's the thing, too. The way I look at it with the Bills and the Jets, I mean, the Jets at least, going back before Rex and Bowles, there was some longevity. Minus what's his name there? That was between Herm and Rex there.
Mangini?
Yeah,
Mangini.
Who was one of the worst coaches I think I've ever seen in NFL history, which we'll get to another one in a minute.
I like
Favre messed,
I liked Eric Mangini.
Mangini was terrible.
He wasn't the greatest, but I don't think he was that bad.
Terrible.
Oh, man.
I give props to Mangini.
I just don't.
He was a 2-year exit. I mean, so
I am tired of, and this is going beyond the Jets, the Bills. I'm tired of teams saying, okay, this guy's had 2 bad years. We should fire him.
In the past years, I've actually kind of grown tired of it, even for 3. But that's just the type of league we live in, or we're witnessing. But Hogan's got something to say on this.
You're at the professional level, so the way I kind of look at it is like you're not doing your job right. And I get what you're saying, though. Like, maybe it takes more years, but not really. It's
but
the
it also,
NFL,
look
right?
at Gus Bradley. This team was supposed to...
Exactly.
The way I see it is, though...
Didn't happen.
It all depends on the amount of talent you have there.
But perfect example, right, of a coach that's like overstayed his welcome and is still there for I don't know what reason. Marvin Lewis. The dude hasn't won a playoff game ever. He's 0-7. Yeah, he hasn't won a playoff game. He's barely over 500 for a regular season. It's just like the perfect example. Like you can keep a coach and say like, oh, maybe it's a 4th year, 5th year.
Here's my thing with Marvin Lewis. Okay. He's a good coach. I'm not going to say he's great. He's a good coach.
No.
I think his problem in the playoffs has been his quarterbacks.
But
look at Carson Palmer in the playoffs.
Oh man.
He's not great in the playoffs. Andy Dalton, if you ask me, isn't even that good of a quarterback in the regular season, let alone he's terrible in the playoffs.
Okay, well, we're going to make it on Carson Palmer. He did make it to the AFC Championship, NFC Championship game last year. Bruce Arians. So is Bruce Arians just that much better of a coach than Marvin Lewis? Or is it Carson Palmer just was like, you know what, I'm going to step up this time? I know it's 2 different teams, but I don't think you could put it all on Palmer.
But at the same time,
especially because last year they should have won the game.
But look at Palmer's year this year in that same offense.
Right.
Palmer
was very bad this
not
year.
Even close to the playoffs. And David Johnson, hands down, everybody's talking about Zeke for the MVP. His numbers are actually better than Zeke's. But
I don't know if they're better, but he's having a great year.
He's got more yards.
We'll see what Zeke does. Well,
we'll see how he finishes the season.
We'll see how he finishes
the season. No, if he plays,
I want to jump back to the Bills real quick.
Yeah, we got off track there.
Real quick,
bit.
I have one question on the Bills, and it does involve Zeke in a way.
Yeah.
It just has a connection with Ohio State and Cardale Jones. We're talking about Hackenberg. Maybe we want Hackenberg to get some action. If we want Cardale Jones to get some action instead of Tyrod Taylor Sunday against the Jets in the same game.
That's an interesting question. I mean,
because if Tyrod Taylor's not your quarterback, then if you're moving on from Tyrod Taylor, why even bother playing him? You're out of the playoffs.
If you have any questions about it and you're out of the playoffs, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. And even if you believe Tyrod Taylor is your quarterback,
I'm not a Hackenberg fan, and I didn't like the kid in college. But at this point, we wasted a second-round pick on this bum, and yes, I'm going to call him a bum until he proves.
They drafted him based on high school, I feel like. That's how I feel. He was such a great prospect coming out of high school, and it just did not work out.
Just let the kid play.
He came in with Bill O'Brien, right? And then...
Well, here's the thing.
O'Brien goes to the NFL. And
they have to dress him this week. Otherwise, you're going to throw Fitz out there, and who's going to be your backup? Walt Powell, and you're going to run the...
I don't know. Can the punter throw?
Probably better off.
I don't know. I don't think our punter can. I don't think Lachlan Edwards can punt that well. So you trust him throwing the ball. When you get Folk the ball, let's hey Folky, throw the ball.
Fitzpatrick should not start. It's just infuriating.
I think the only way
he's on a 1-year contract. Yeah, get Hackenberg out there. I mean, even if you don't like him, at least see what he can do.
Well, how did we get back to the Jets?
Somebody brought it up. We're back on.
Well, we're talking about. But I was getting ready to say this.
We have some Jets.
The only way I think the Jets and the Bills game is any interesting is if the Bills sign Jim Kelly and the Jets sign Joe Namath. It's the only way
that's not happening.
Neither of that are happening.
No, but that was a good point.
Can't go back
though.
in the past.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we should see both rookie quarterbacks out there.
Do you got an update on the interstate? Was there a car wreck?
Last I knew, there was a 7-car accident,
or just one car from Oakland.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, in Oakland. So, well, I guess it could be a 17 car. I mean, how many Raiders fans do we have in the Capital District?
That's true.
Let alone our own Jeff Levac from Levac and Gaz, which can be heard live on the air Monday through Friday from 2 to 7.
They don't need more promotion.
Well, we'll give them one anyway.
Those are our boys right there, right?
Yeah, we can
driving you home.
We're driving you home. Don't forget that. Yeah. Can the Raiders survive without Carr?
McGloin. We know he's going to be the quarterback in the playoffs, regardless if they have a bye or not. Matt McGloin's going to be the quarterback. Is it just? I don't see it personally, but do you guys have a ray of sunshine for Jeff Levac?
At least the good news is he's surrounded by weapons, right? I mean, that offensive line's very good.
He's got to hand the ball off to Latavius Murray, throw the ball to Mari Cooper
and Michael Crabtree.
Yeah,
right. You know, and who? And not
do we even
Latavius.
count Crabtree? I mean, come on.
Oh, he's amazing.
Crabtree's been better than I think. Cooper this year.
Yeah, I think he got snubbed by not being in the Pro Bowl this year. I'm amazed that Amari Cooper made it over him. I know his stats are. It's a little fluctuating.
Let's not talk about how big of a joke
Cooper's actually really dropped off in the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And Crabtree
has a knack for the end zone. I feel like he's
more consistent than Crabtree.
But
here's my question though: with
skill
Crabtree,
positions aren't the problem right now. It's Matt McGloin.
But at least he has these weapons.
And their defense is besides Khalil Mack. I mean, I know Bruce Irvin's there now, but
that's the only two guys I know on that. The only two guys I know on that.
They're going to have
defense.
to just control the clock. Keep their offense on the field as much as possible.
Couldn't tell you who any of their
they have the running backs
defensive backs are since Woodson left last year. I mean, I couldn't tell you who any of them are.
In his swan song.
They have the running game, though, I believe, to
Murray.
At least they got Murray.
Jalen Richard.
Yep. And then they even have DeAndre Washington. I mean, that's a three-headed monster.
Washington had a couple touchdowns on Sunday against the Jets, or Colts, excuse me.
I'm not saying they'll go to the Super Bowl, but, I mean, they can at least give you if they can keep you off the field for that long.
You know what just absolutely just sucks? Is how we're talking about how the Raiders could be this big contender against the Patriots, and they're not even going to have a
the Patriots got handed the AFC.
We're not going to see Carr versus Brady, which we all wanted to see.
In my opinion, the Raiders are the only team that could outscore the Patriots, and now the Patriots just got handed the AFC.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, you think AFC? You think Patriots got it?
Hands down. Who do you think can beat them?
I'm Chiefs.
I got Chiefs.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Love the Chiefs.
But here's the problem.
Last year they had a no-show against them. I hear that.
If it was going to be in Arrowhead, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, there's zero chance it's going to be.
I had this exact same conversation with somebody yesterday. That if the game was in Arrowhead, and I said this, and I disagreed with him at first because I think Alex Smith is overrated as a quarterback. But
wait a second. Alex Smith's probably the most scrutinized quarterback in the league. One of them, if not. How can you say he's overrated?
I don't think he's that good.
But you side with the masses and saying that he's just a game manager, right?
But here's the thing, and he made this valid point. Whether or not Alex Smith is their quarterback, the Chiefs are tough to beat in Arrowhead alone. I mean, you could put me or you out there at quarterback, and we'd still stand a chance because it's Arrowhead.
He's a very good game manager, though. He doesn't turn the ball over, which you need in the playoffs. And that defense is what's going to be the strength of that team. Spencer Ware and Travis Kelce. Who's going to cover him? Tyreek Hill's another weapon now.
Chris
Macklin
Conley,
is back.
Is that what his name is?
Chris Conley, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they have weapons.
Keep throwing out names.
They have weapons. And the Patriots, they're still the favorite. But they've been hurt over the last couple of weeks.
Patriots are definitely the favorite.
I think the one thing...
Anytime it goes through Foxborough.
And I hate the Patriots, but I think the one thing that's going to cost the Patriots, believe it or not, is not having Gronk.
Will you? That's definitely got to be the number one on there.
And like I said, I hate the Patriots, but there's one thing I won't take away. Gronk is a beast. Can't take that away from the guy. Belichick's a genius. Gronk's a beast.
Belichick's still a genius
right
now.
Yeah.
So I have to agree with that they're the favorite, but I think the Chiefs...
The only ones that stand a chance now.
Well, I forgot they were an Andy Reid coach team, but
what's Andy Reid's record in the playoffs?
Well, it's probably okay. I mean, he gets what's his record in championship games? You just probably
what's his record in the Super Bowl? And who did he lose to in the Super Bowl?
He lost to the Patriots.
This is the year, the Chiefs.
But I think this brings.
We all agree that the Texans have absolutely no chance.
Oh my God! No, you know what's going to happen? They're going to win their first game in the playoffs.
Anyways,
against the Chiefs.
I know. It's the best part. That's exactly. I'm going to give them no credit.
Savage as their quarterback.
I'm going to give them no credit, and somehow they're going to sneak out with a win. But
their $70 million quarterback, Brock Osweiler, will be on the bench, and they could still win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not scary.
It's scary because I just don't believe it.
But that brings up. But here, all right. So let's get off the AFC.
Yeah.
How about the Cowboys?
NFC. Right. Yeah. What, you don't think they're real? You don't think that at this point in the season?
Oh, trust me, Dak is ridiculous. The best thing that ever happened to them was Romo going down.
Okay. I actually tend to fall into the category of people saying that it's not necessarily Dak, it's the offensive line with Ezekiel Elliott, and Dak has just done just enough. Still think Dak has been sensational. It's just...
But here, everybody's overlooking...
You change Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott, what do you
Everybody's
get, right?
overlooking Cole Beasley this year. How does Cole...
solid.
He's having the best year. I think this is his best statistical year he's ever had.
Probably.
Does he have that good of a year without
Ezekiel
Romo?
Elliott and the offensive line who
What if
them to run the
Sanchez,
football?
who, let's not forget, is still technically on their roster?
He is. It's just inactive every game.
Do you blame him? I wouldn't want him active.
Wait, are the Cowboys for real? Is this what we're?
Yeah, we're.
I feel like because I hear
Cole
Beasley.
I don't know
into
if he's arguing if they're for real.
Yeah,
or he just doesn't believe that they're gonna win at all. I don't know. I think he thinks they're for real, right?
Do you think they're the best team in the NFC?
No.
Okay,
really
that's
don't.
what we get to.
Okay,
I really don't.
Who is better than the Cowboys at this point?
How do you not say the Giants?
A lot of reasons.
They beat them twice. They beat. I mean, let's be serious. They lost
just
two.
because-
They have beat
regular
them
season
twice.
games.
Yes,
I
I don't
will
think
say
they're
that-
better though.
I will say that Achilles heel going into the playoffs, the Giants, you know what, 100% Cowboy, I would love the Cowboys to be 14-2. Giants, at some point in the playoffs, I don't know whether it's divisional or the conference championship.
Yep.
The Giants go into Dallas and are 3-0 on the year. Cowboys are 14 or 15-3, all three losses to the Giants. I would love that.
All right, here's my
But
thing.
there's a chance the Giants could lose at Seattle, at Atlanta, and Dallas would be scot-free.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you why I think
without
Seattle's
their-
overrated this year. Because
I'm just saying
They
the
can't-
Giants' Achilles heel. You want to talk about the Giants' Achilles heel? I think it has been Seattle, especially if you have to go to Seattle.
yeah, but the Seahawks can't keep Russell Wilson on his feet this year. I'm
fair.
amazed. Of all the quarterbacks that have gotten injured and missed significant time, I'm amazed that he hasn't. Because they cannot keep him
That's a
upright.
lot about
this
his
year.
toughness, I
Problem
guess.
is they'll have to go to Seattle.
Right, and we're just talking about teams are going to go into Houston and lose.
Yeah.
I'd be more nervous about going
Going
into
to Seattle and losing. Yeah, but I honestly, the Cowboys to me, their defense has been a lot better this year
The
too.
defense just surprisingly.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
that's
that's
because Sean Lee's playing a whole 16 games.
And it
Not to
also can
jinx
go to
them.
credit to, they but they have that running game now that is so dominant that the other team is just not on the field as much. And when they are, they have to make the most out of their opportunities every single time.
You know, I
All
have
right.
a perfect segue into what we want to talk about next.
Oh, I like
But
it.
but I can't.
I
Can we
want-
move on without talking about?
Hold
the
on, I want to
Lions
go
and
back
the
to Cole
Packers?
Beasley
Ooh.
first. Cole Beasley this year,
Oh man,
He's on a
What
he-
is going on?
He got a
Cole
case of the
Beasley?
Beasles over here.
14 games, 68 receptions for 759 yards and 5 touchdowns. Do you know what his best year prior to that was? Last year,
I'm not. He's not having a great
52
year. I'm just saying
receptions.
I don't look at it as
536 yards and 5 touchdowns.
okay. So you
What
were
is
making
this,
an
a
argument
tri-
for the Cowboys beating the Giants now because Cole Beasley's going to come out and have a great game.
But let's look at. Did you watch the Giants game last week or Thursday? Last Thursday?
I was able to catch some of it. Yes.
They lost half their secondary. They lost half their secondary last week.
Oh, Jack Rabbit will be back.
I'm telling you,
It
I
was a
think
short week, man. I didn't hear any word on whether if it wasn't a short week he would have played or not.
I would have
But it
more
was a short
confidence in the Giants in the playoffs this year if they had JPP. But their defensive line has been playing okay without JPP.
They were really good against Dallas
Yeah. And I think
without JPP.
and if you look at their last 2 Super Bowl wins, I know Eli got the MVP. Their defense carried them.
100% of the defense carried them. Yes. So no, I agree with you that the Giants are probably my second team right now.
And what's even scarier,
Behind the Cowboys, only because there's no guarantee that the Cowboys don't have to go through things. So the Giants are gonna have a tougher time against the the Seattle, having to go to Seattle, I think, or going to maybe even Detroit. I think it's gonna be Green Bay, but
Well,
I still have to favor Dallas because they've
I
been
don't
every other team
want to
except
face
the
Rodgers
Giants.
in the playoffs.
Both teams could be in the playoffs. If Detroit,
Well, no, both of them be in the
Yeah.
playoffs. But I don't know if the Giants have to go
Giants
to
go,
Green Bay. If they go
I'd
to
rather
Green Bay or
not.
to Seattle,
I don't care
know.
whether it's
Also, the
home.
Giants, did the Giants go through Green Bay twice when they won the Super Bowl?
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
so. Like both times.
I know one thing
fortunately
though.
as a Packers fan, yes.
Regardless of whether it's home or away, I don't want to face Rodgers in the playoffs.
Right. So because the Giants happen to be in the same division with the best team record wise in the NFC, I'd have to favor Dallas because of that.
Yeah.
They've beaten every other team except for the Giants. And there's no guarantee they're going to have to play the Giants. But if they do, I'm probably going to pick the G-Men, even though it's very hard to pick to win 3 times against it.
I want to go back to
1 year.
something too that we skipped because I totally missed it when we were talking about coaches on Hot Seat Rex and Bulls. How does Chip Kelly still have a job? Anywhere. If anybody was smart, the San Francisco 49ers would say, there's the door, get out, I never want to see your face again. The guy ruins teams. He ruined the Eagles. He went to the 49ers.
Weren't you just complaining about 2 years isn't enough?
Yes.
The guy doesn't even deserve to finish out this year. I had to fire him 3 weeks ago.
Remember when he had Nick Foles and they were like on the rise and everybody was
7
like,
touchdown passes
Chip
he
Kelly,
had.
oh my God, look what he's bringing to the NFL.
Yeah.
It's, I like Chip Kelly. I'm not saying I want him as my head coach right away.
The problem with Chip Kelly is the minute he loses or the minute he goes on a 2-game losing streak, he will lose all the outside support that he has.
Exactly. And that 49ers team is decimated with injuries.
He inherited probably one of the worst. That was probably the worst job they've taken.
Yeah.
But because he was out in Philadelphia, I feel like he felt probably like he had to take that job because
And
he
they were
wasn't
like,
going to get anything else.
Patrick Willis, see you later. Goodbye. You're hurt. See you later.
Yep.
See?
After secondary.
Because Jim Tom Zula,
Ironically,
I don't want to throw it all on Jim Tom Zula because it really is the GM's fault in San Francisco for letting Harbaugh just be like,
I said this from the get-go.
I don't need this.
I think Wilson them retired not because they wanted to. I think because of Harbaugh. I think once Harbaugh left, they said, you know what? They wanted to keep Harbaugh.
Wait,
yes.
So I think they did it to make a point of, you know what? This is a bad decision you guys are making. That they're like, you know what? We don't want to play for anybody but Harbaugh. Because if you look about it,
yes.
you think about it, the Harbaugh teams were amazing.
I think 40% Harbaugh, 40% safety.
I get your point. Yeah, I get the point that you want to play for Jim, but I don't know if they retire because I really feel like some of these players are starting to see.
I mean, let's look at Calvin
repercussions of this.
Johnson. There's no way we should have lost Calvin Johnson already.
Well,
no way.
Oh, you blaming on Jim Caldwell?
No, but I'm just saying.
But that was
the injuries are starting.
Right.
I agree. Patrick Willis, he had if I remember correctly, I know Bowman had a really nasty knee injury. I think he did too.
I'm like 4 seasons into my Madden 16 franchise, and Marshawn Lynch is still playing. So,
explain to me how in Madden, how this year in Madden, Tom Brady never got his suspension.
You know what? Maybe
Something
we'll do a segment on the
EA Sports.
Yeah. Anyways, next show.
Maybe we get somebody else on from EA Sports to discuss
my
this
segue.
with you, Mike.
Segue, we were talking about the Cowboys, right?
Yep.
The segue I had perfect for it was there's a team that took a running back in the top 5. Talk NFL draft. Talking about the Jets. Jets are going to have probably a top 6 pick. Do they take a running back? They take Leonard Fournette or Dalvin Cook?
I'm telling you right now, no. You know why? I think we got another year out of Forte coming. I think
his contract is leaning toward you definitely have to get one more year out of him.
Yeah, but and this is going to sound biased because I'm a diehard Oklahoma fan. I think they wait for Samaje P. Ryan to come out of the draft. Hands down.
That sounds like a Homer thing to do. But yeah.
I mean,
well, okay.
I have no problem with Fournette sitting out.
Regardless of the Jets, where does the Fournette go? And is it because Ezekiel Elliott at number 4 last year is what he is?
He's got injury concerns too.
How about Jacksonville? Jacksonville needs another. I mean,
do they?
You're gonna hit. Yeldon's proven this year he can't handle it. You're gonna trust Chris Ivory?
I think the Jaguars need to focus on their quarterback. I don't know if Blake Bortles is their future.
I think Bortles is okay. I think they need to get him some wide receivers.
Who do you think goes number 1?
He's got a tight end.
He's got plenty of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, you could argue, is he's first of all
they showed up against the Titans.
Yeah,
or better yet, they got to get him, or they got to get
Marquise
him.
Lee is good.
Getting healthy.
Allen Hurns just caught 10 or 11 touchdowns last year.
Last year, I feel like that was a fluke.
It could have been a fluke, but I'm just saying from a weapon, and they gave him Julius Thomas. I think
Yeah.
I think some of the blame's got to be put on Blake Bortles. Sometimes when you're watching those games, and unfortunately I'm
See, I don't
watching the
think Bortles
Jaguars.
is that bad.
I don't know if he's that bad, but I don't think he's.
I think if he was in the right situation, maybe could it be with Bortles a coaching problem?
He did play better after Gus Bradley got fired.
That's fair, only because he hasn't had another head coach other than Bradley, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean Doug Marrone's going to take over? Do you think Doug Marrone has another blowout? Say up the Colts?
Good God. No comment.
All right, so
I'm not commenting on Doug Marrone.
On the draft, do you have any personal who you want to see go first overall to Cleveland, or who you think might go first overall to Cleveland?
Unfortunately, they're going to select Lamar Jackson just because
He's not coming out.
He's not going to come out.
Lamar Jackson.
He's only a
sophomore.
He's a true sophomore.
Yeah.
True sophomore.
But they have to go quarterback.
Well,
If you go
do they
quarterback,
though?
what do you got? You got the kid from UNC, and then you got Deshaun Kaiser coming out of Notre Dame.
Do you take Deshaun Watson?
Maybe. I don't know if they go quarterback.
However,
Here's
call
the
me
thing.
crazy.
He thinks he's the best quarterback.
If Deshaun Watson somehow falls to the Jets, they'd be stupid not to take him.
At 6 or 5 or
If
whatever
if
they might have.
if Deshaun Watson somehow does
Right
not,
now, you got Mitch Trubisky, the kid from North Carolina, and Deshaun Kaiser, both ranked ahead of Deshaun Watson.
give me Deshaun. If Watson somehow falls to the Jets at 6,
Okay. Rewind. Let's go back a little bit. Last year, going into the draft, I didn't look at Jared Goff or Carson Wentz. I didn't think they were going to go 1-2. This year, I kind of look at the same thing. I don't necessarily see a quarterback that I think needs to be taken first overall, but Cleveland.
this
needs
could
a
be the
quarterback.
draft where we. Could this be the draft where we don't see a quarterback go in the first round? Because if you ask
You
me,
just said you.
Yeah.
I know.
but if you logically think about it, the kid from UNC is not going first overall. There's no way. That's just we're talking
marking that
football,
down, and the
not
show-
basketball.
The show after, if we're still doing this podcast, which I hope we are, after the NFL draft, I would love
Listen,
to sit
all
here
right,
and be
if-
like, hey, Mike James.
If this kid from
Mike-
UNC
Mike
goes
Trubisky
first
is so
overall,
first
Trubisky
overall.
goes first overall,
Mitch
whatever.
Trubisky. Say it with me, Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky. There we go. Goes first overall.
Do you think Jared Goff last year, at this time last year, late December, right after Christmas?
I will manly admit that I was wrong, but I'm telling you, I don't see it. And if you ask me, the only quarterback coming out this year that really is first round caliber is Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
But does they? But
And Hogan, we'll keep an eye on Lamar Jackson going into
yeah,
next year.
maybe next year. Maybe next year.
No, but I understand what you were saying because
I think they're going to select
a
a
pro
quarterback
prospect. I
for
think
some
he is.
reason, and it's
the
just,
problem with him is there could be the Tebow effect though because his arm isn't the best.
that's true.
But it's a little early on him. We'll see how he develops in his next year.
I mean, he
and
played great this year.
We'll see how a Heisman candidate
Yeah.
develops. Well, we've seen it before where someone wins the Heisman and they don't translate.
necessarily
I mean,
pan out. Yeah,
I'm not going to compare. I don't think it's fair to compare someone to Johnny Manziel because he's just his own nutcase. But we saw Johnny Manziel.
can we get Johnny Manziel on this?
He might.
I feel like
sweet Johnny
he's got
Manziel.
some
Johnny
free-
Manziel. Look at.
he's got some free time. I feel like he would love to be on the show.
Tell you right now, if
He'd
we
be
get Johnny
awesome.
Manziel, I'm taking that show off. I will not be here. I'm
You won't be here?
I'm anti Johnny
Let's
Manziel.
get it.
We'll get Johnny Manziel. He'll fill in for Mike for one day,
Yes.
for one
No.
segment,
I
segment.
literally cannot stand Johnny Manziel. I will skip the interview. Skip the interview. If you got Tim Tebow, I would skip the interview.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
I'm a huge Tim Tebow fan.
What?
You know why I hate Tim? I'll tell you.
That would be the biggest.
Before
get
we
of the century.
segue out of the NFL, and we'll actually.
1045theteam.com.
This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna segue this into baseball because
All right,
Tebow's
you're-
now playing baseball. This is why I don't like. This is why I don't like Tim
I feel
Tebow.
like you made up. You wouldn't be here, Tim Tebow. You just thought of the segue in your head, and
I did.
That was
But
you were like,
this is gonna
I
work
gotta throw
perfectly.
Tim Tebow under the bus. Though.
I hate Tim Tebow because of this one fact. Okay, I never used to hate Tebow until I
glad.
had a professor at Hudson Valley that went to the University of Florida. Tim Tebow, Tebow, I love you.
That's another thing I would love to talk about at some point on this podcast, and we could ask people out there to respond to this about hating someone or hating an athlete based on someone else's fanship. I had
That
a
happens
friend
so
who was a
much.
diehard Phoenix Suns fans. It would not shut up when Goran Dragic was on that team. And he'd be like, we have a dragon.
We have a dragon.
And I didn't like Goran Dragic.
Don't
Because
the
of that.
Suns don't they have both the Dragic brothers now?
They used to. He's no longer there.
Oh, that's right. Goran's not there. The other one's still there, though, right?
No, he was like in
No?
Boston. He might even back
Oh.
overseas. I have no idea. But like you start disliking a team, that could be common for something else. That's a completely different thing. But that would be something you can talk about.
It's so true, though. Like, I won't go too far into it, but, like, I used to hate Eli Manning because I'm a Packers fan and all
And
the
how
Giants fans surrounding
Capital
me.
Region.
You know,
But here's the thing.
I've generally
That's probably our target market, so we probably shouldn't be
yeah.
putting them down.
I was just gonna
people-
say I kind of like Eli now. Sometimes
That's
he gets
good.
too
But
much
is
hate.
it because
Do you like
now
Eli
you
because they
hear
all
Giants?
trash him now?
Yeah, now they're all
I
trashing
know
him
more
like on the
Giants
opposite
fans that are
side
like,
now.
all right, I want Eli gone.
Now I'm defending him.
As I'm staring at Eli Manning behind you, you know, I find more of them trashing him now. Like, all right, I want Eli gone.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question
My
though?
dad
Tim
included.
Tebow, right?
Yeah.
So you're a Jets fan, right?
Yeah.
Who would be a better quarterback for 1 year, Bryce Petty or Tim Tebow for the New York Jets?
Hey,
This is interesting.
not
right?
statistics. Don't
And
go by
it-
statistics. Go by winning games.
Yeah, we're just winning games.
I got my answer. And he wears number 15.
FYI, mine's Tim Tebow also.
I can't even
All right,
argue
so that's
that.
great.
You
That was a
know,
great transition by
I know
Mike
that's not a
James.
great. I'm just Tim
Yeah.
Tebow though, but
No,
all
great,
right.
great transition though by Mike James. I gotta
Baseball.
give him credit there. We're going right into baseball. And
How
because-
about the Chris Sale trade the Red Sox made? Hoagie, I know you're a Red
you know what would have been
Sox fan.
seamless if you went right to the Mets because he's on. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Because
like the
you want to
Mets.
start? I mean,
No.
Yeah, you want. He's so excited because you're both Yankee fans, and he wants to just jump all over me as a Red Sox fan.
Let's let the
I
Red
think
Sox fan have a little soliloquy here.
They
about whether-
overpaid for Chris Sale.
Let's let him say it.
Absolutely not. Let me ask you this: do you guys remember the contract they paid to Yohan?
Yeah.
All right. Do you think it was worth it? It could be,
No.
right? But is it
Could
worth
be.
it at this point? It was, remember, $30 million, 31.5 signing bonus. All right. At this point, is he a prospect? I've never heard of a prospect. He's not a in my mind. He's not a prospect. You better be delivering on that when when you sign for
Do
that.
you want
Now,
to talk about a bad deal though? How about the Daisuke deal years ago?
oh, that's exactly. Well, actually, he pitched pretty well a couple of years.
The worst deal I think is if you look at it right now is the Astros with the John Singleton thing.
Yes, I mean that was horrible. I mean even Rusty Castillo, the Red Sox, they made
Where
it.
the
You
heck
know,
did he
oh
go?
my gosh, that was horrible. But
You never know,
this
but
trade,
I mean, I guess for what they're paying Sale,
I mean,
It's a
he's
steal.
on such a
It is a steal.
team-friendly contract, and you just bolstered your
Here's my
starting
thing.
roster. Oh my God, your
I'm on
starting
both
lineup.
sides. I think both Sox get away with one
Exactly.
gets a
I
great
think the
haul
White
in terms of prospects, or I mean
Well, yes, no, yeah,
prospects
yes.
and the guy
Yeah.
who's getting paid millions. And then the Sox got exactly what they needed. They
Yup.
needed another top bill starter that could help them when they do make the playoffs, which as fortunately as a Yankee fan having to say, I do think that they're going to make the playoffs, whether it be as a division winner or as a wild card, and they need someone to pitch in that wild card game or pitch game 1 and game 4, and then if they get to the 7-game series.
here's my thing right
Seven.
now.
But how many times did we see pitchers this year pitch on a short game rest?
Yeah, ton. I mean, and now,
Chris Sale's never had to pitch
and now you have
past
The
Chris
Red
Sale,
Sox
Rick Porcello,
Do
and David
not
Price.
win the World Series this year. Yeah, I think it's an utter disappointment.
See,
Well,
yes,
don't
I
know
want a
about
World
you.
Series, but
this is where you're going with this. I think Kopech is going to be really, really good.
oh yes,
I don't know when. I just think that he's
there will be a time in play, but he'll come up sooner than expected. I
probably
believe.
yeah. I mean,
But-
what do the White Sox have to?
To go on that point though, not the White Sox, the Cleveland Indians, after they just got another bat, Edwin, I feel like they might still be the favorite coming out of there. Now they're getting their. I mean, they had a couple of injuries to their staff last year. They're going to get them back next year. Their pitching staff is probably close, if not, it might even be a little better. You can make the argument than the Red Sox still, even with the Chris Sale. I mean, from 1 to 5, that is a deadly Indians rotation. And then they just added that bat to the lineup.
Here's my question.
Oh my God. Cleveland.
Jose Quintana is on the trade market right now. Where's he gonna go?
Where is he going to go?
Yeah, that could swing things.
I got nowhere for him right now,
Drastically.
only because I think that the White Sox are just so smitten with what they
Well,
got
the rumor,
for-
the rumor
Yeah, they've
I
gotten
heard
so
for
much-
Chris Sale, and they also got for Adam Eaton. I mean,
The rumor I heard for
steal.
the-
If you want to talk about the biggest steal, the Adam Eaton deal it blows my mind. I know Adam Eaton is like a friend. He's got a friendly contract and he's controllable But I just was mind blown when I saw the Nationals give up what they gave.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
They're so desperate to win now. I think they realize that Bryce Harper.
But Adam Eaton, is he the difference maker?
You know what it is?
And he's going to have to play center field. He did not play center field well.
I don't think they had. I mean, this offseason,
Trey Turner is learning how to play center field as he's doing it.
But here's the
thing.
The only guys you could get are what? The Edwin was out there, right? Jose Bautista, you
Still
could have
hasn't
gotten.
signed.
But he wants big money.
He said he might go 1-year contract now.
Here's my question.
He's coming
smart.
back.
Very smart.
He's coming back to earth.
I'm gonna throw this at you, Eric, because we're both Yankee fans. If say Cashman decides to empty out the wall a little bit, which I know he won't because Hank and Hal are cheap and they don't want to spend the money. If they said, all right, they call up Bautista, which I think is not a terrible idea. Call up Jose Bautista and say, we'll give you a 1-year, $12.5 million contract. Something like, I know that's not going to be the number.
Got to trade Brett Gardner if you do that.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the other thing.
That's how I feel, personally.
I would not mind seeing Brett Gardner go. But even better, forget Jose Bautista. There's been a rumor I've seen swirling around on Facebook for the last 3 days, and I hope it happens. It's supposedly a huge 3-team trade, and I'm going to see if I can go find it right now, that McCutchen's coming to the Yankees.
No.
Why can't the Yankee fans just have a rebuild and be happy with what's happening so far? I love their system right now. They just brought up Gary Sanchez. He's awesome. They have Clint Frazier, who is...
I fall into that mold. I'm fine with the rebuild. I was not a big fan of the Aroldis Chapman deal, only because I would have preferred Kenley Jansen personally. With that type of money, the most money to a closer, I want someone who can pitch, just can't throw hard, doesn't just throw hard.
But Jansen wasn't going with,
I get your point, though.
The only reason why Yankees didn't sign him is because Cashman's so into this new thing about prospects, which is a great thing. I love it. He just didn't want to give up that first-round pick.
But here's my thing. They're trying to relive the 90s. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Jeter, Mo, Posada, Pettit.
But
days
real quick,
all over
hang
again.
on.
Did we win four? I know.
Before we
did they win 4 World Series in 5 years?
I mean, and also the players that you just named, where did they come from?
Did that work, Mike?
Where did those players come from? Name those players again, right? You said Jeter,
You got Jeter,
Rivera, Posada, and Andy Pettit.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come
Bernie.
from?
Did we say Bernie?
Bernie?
Well, Bernie came up in 92.
Did they
Bernie
sign him
before everybody?
Did they sign him or get him from their minor leagues?
No, they got him from the minors.
They came from the minors.
I think their minor league system is
had,
actually now
then you had
good
Paul
enough.
O'Neill from a trade.
Yeah, I think
Tino.
I don't think they have to go out and get like that huge bat.
Tino got booed a ton because he was placing Don Mattingly.
Yeah.
So
I think the Yankees are in a great spot now, and Clint Frazier.
He's probably the most jacked redhead.
Let me tell you something. I'm a Red Sox fan, but that dude is awesome. Like, he might be one of my favorite players already because that dude's
he's active on social media. He's very
you can tell he's putting the work in.
Right.
And most of the time now you've seen the MLB, right? Is like players aren't like, I mean, they're in good shape and everything, but this dude's putting the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm excited. I feel like the first time he strikes out, I can't wait to see what he does with that bat. I feel like he might just snap it over like his forearm or something.
I have
something
no
completely
problems with the rebuild, but at the same time,
do you
I'm
want
tired of
McCutchen?
not
Do
being
you really want
competitive.
McCutchen? Because if you trade for McCutchen, you have to give him money
I think
now.
Gardner has to go. Hands down.
Well, the Ellsbury deal made
Brett
you have to
Gardner
choose between one of them eventually.
and Chase Headley both need to be shown the door.
Well,
Chase Headley's
the problem
a
is,
terrible third
you know
baseman.
what Cashman really love is if Headley comes out and has a monster first half, and
then you could trade him.
Trade him to someone.
He's got. I mean, that's pretty good.
I don't see that happening though.
I don't either, but I'm saying at this point, if
Stranger
you
things
just cut
happen.
ties, you're losing money. At least give him a chance.
The problem is you can't just trade Chase Headley anymore.
No,
you can't just be like, because at this point you won't get
the easiest one to
anything.
move is
Probably
Gardner.
one of
Gardner's the
their better
easiest one to move right now.
What's that?
I think Gardner's the easiest guy to move. I don't think it needs to be done,
and
it needs to be done.
They've been trying to trade Gardner for a while. I'm not sure, Pete. There's as many takers. You know what?
I think they're
talking
asking
about
too
Why
much
didn't
for
the Nationals
Gardner.
check in?
Well, that's
interesting.
exactly like they're looking at Adam Eaton. I mean, I would personally rather Adam Eaton over Brett Gardner. I like Brett Gardner too. I think he's solid.
Give up Lucas Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, and Dane
I think
Dunning,
the problem
all
with
for Adam Eaton. You probably don't have to get either one of those. Maybe one.
That's
I
true.
think-
That's very true.
Could it be more of the fact that the Yankees want too much for Gardner and he's not worth what they're asking? Too.
You know what? I haven't heard enough about it to make that, to decide on one or the other. It could be both. That teams aren't showing that much interest, and the Yankees still have a big value for him. And I think maybe even in the clubhouse. Yeah. You know what? I went to a Yankee game last year, and Aaron Hicks was playing center field, and there was times where he just showed he didn't even care. And I remember being there and seeing Brett Gardner, like, letting him know what he just saw.
Yeah, like, I think Brett Gardner's a good leader out there.
Yeah. I mean, back when, I don't know if I'm going to say, back when Armin was here, for Armin and Levac, and now it's Levac and Guys, Armin used to argue that Brett Gardner would be the next captain.
Yep.
So I think that could be part of the reason why Brett Gardner's not gone.
He's the guy, when you turn on the Yes Network to watch a Yankee game, you're going to see anyone get dirty, it's him. Mm-hmm. He's diving all over the field. Listen, I know his stats aren't there anymore to where they were.
Yes.
Where, they don't make enough find anyone
him or Ellsbury.
I mean, the only other guy you could find out there is Tim Tebow. You could do a straight-up trade Brett Gardner for Tim Tebow. What do you think about that, Mike?
No comment.
But back to McCutchen. You think he's going to the Yankees? I think realistically he stays with Pittsburgh.
I think he's getting traded.
I think if he's going to get traded, he's going to. I think it's the Blue Jays personally.
I think it all depends where Batista goes.
But McCutchen's a rental at this point. Did you guys look at it the same way? I think McCutchen's a rental at this point.
Yeah,
he got 1 year left on his deal, and I don't think a team's going to go. I think he wants to hit the open market. A, and B, I don't think a team's going to, on that note, is going to trade for him unless they know he's going to sign, or if they know they're in playoff contention. So he might not even be out of Pittsburgh until midseason. And when it's midseason, I think Pittsburgh's going to be good enough to where they're like, we got to keep McCutchen.
It's going to be a contender.
Yeah, but McCutchen only got 1 year left on his deal?
Yeah, but it's a contender. It's going to be a contender that's going to
want. Deal, right?
I believe
I'm
so.
checking that right
yeah,
now.
Check that out if you don't mind. But
and it's a really team-friendly deal.
Who would you rather want, though, Ryan Braun or Andrew McCutchen? Just speaking out of the NL, because they're both on the trade block. They're both outfielders.
I have so much taste still on Braun.
Braun is older, but not
I have so much taste still on
much.
Braun, but I still think that Braun might be a little cheaper, and I would probably.
I'm so on
in
board.
the American League, I'd probably go after Braun.
Yeah, I'm so on board with that.
Is owed $14 million this year, and then he's got a $14.75 million option for 18 with $1 million buyout.
Yeah, so they're most likely going to let him go.
Right. They got Polanco, they got Marte, and they got Austin Meadows,
Pirates
Josh
were
Bell.
smart,
they got a lot.
They move McCutchen, in my opinion. I think they just move him.
It'll be to a contender.
If we're going to go to the Central right now, I think the Central is going to be incredibly competitive this year. Because I think Pirates are going to be a very good team, especially if they hang on to McCutchen, along with obviously the defending champion Cubs.
I think the Cardinals
are are always there, and they made some decent moves. I mean, they just got Dexter Fowler from the Cubs, and then talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to
who would you rather have, actually? Go back to this. Who would you rather have, Dexter Fowler or Jason Hayward?
Fowler.
Jason Hayward.
Why?
I like Jason Hayward. Yeah, I'm a Jason Hayward. Maybe I'm a little biased on this, but
at this juncture,
I'd rather him in the outfield.
We saw last year.
Yeah, but Fowler played much better last year.
Hayward's a bounce back candidate.
How incredible was it that he bet on himself last year too with that contract? Scenario. Oh my gosh!
You know what? I got an idea.
What an incredible move that was by him, by the way. But I'll move on from that point. But.
Let's do something crazy right now because I'm feeling crazy. Let's play early award winners because this is on my mind right now. Because I was thinking
early award. It's the day after Christmas.
I know,
crazy.
It's the day after Christmas.
Hitters and catchers haven't even reported.
Because I just think,
maybe this is something that
this Alex Reyes kid for the Cardinals is getting a lot of hype going into this year.
Deservedly so.
Right now. Who is your 2017 NL Cy Young Award winner?
I'm not gonna say Alex Reyes. He's a rookie, but
wow, that's.
I'm just we're just gonna go in general.
I can't go with anyone other than Clayton Kershaw. I'm sorry,
but can he stay healthy all year?
I believe so. He's done it before. It was 1 year.
Fair enough. Hoagie.
And you're talking about a guy who pitches through injuries. I think if they let him, if they told him. You know what? If you take surgery, you don't get back.
I have a surprise for you for AL Cy Young coming up.
Wait, react to that though. If they had told him, Clayton, we don't think you're coming back, and like he knew that surgery.
If he was healthy all year,
he knew he was going to be there in September.
Hands down, Cy Young.
If Clayton Kershaw found out that he could have pitched through it, and in the surgery
he
wouldn't get him in time for the playoffs, I think he pitches through that injury 100%.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I have no idea where were you going on with that.
If I had to pick, it's either between Kershaw or Scherzer. I mean. I might go Scherzer again, I think. Maybe just from the standpoint.
I think Hendricks' year this year wasn't a fluke. I think Hendricks
I don't think it was
is a real deal.
fluke. But if he's not going to win it with the ERA that he had this year,
yeah, it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. He's not going to rack up enough strikeouts.
If Kershaw stays healthy, like we just said, basically, and if he's able to pitch through, is there a better pitcher in the league?
No.
So I'm going to pick the best pitcher. It'll be Kershaw in the end.
It's hard not to. It really is.
You ready for my surprise in the AL?
The AL, okay.
I'll give you a hint. This is not.
Don't you pull a Yankee biased?
Listen,
let me tell you
I
right now.
love the kid
right
when
now.
he was in Seattle.
There's nobody. I'm a Yankee fan.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
on the Yankee. Oh, who was it?
I already know who he's going to pick.
I'm telling you right now. Call me crazy. I love the kid when he was in Seattle. Pineda turns it around next year.
He did go on Yankees?
AL Cy Young Award winner next year, Michael Pineda.
No, I thought.
Can we create like a bet system that we have between us three when something like this crazy happens?
You ready for what this is? Yankee homer, Red Sox fan, just generic baseball fan.
I feel like I'm pretty generic. I'm pretty.
I'm telling you though.
No,
listen,
you are generic.
Yeah. I think we have
if
to see.
Pineda gets his stuff in order, I think he can win a Cy Young. And
There's nobody on the Yankees.
Why not next year?
I don't want people to come after me for saying this, but there's nobody in the Yankees that has a chance to win Cy Young.
That's a lot to ask for too, though, right? Like I think he's got all the tools to be great, but at the same time, one off season,
how many meatballs he throws in there, even with 2 strikes.
In that ball,
how bad he was. He can't.
But this is what I'm saying. If he gets it together next year, hands down, he could be a Cy Young Award winner.
In that ballpark,
we're talking about if Clayton Kershaw can stay healthy. We're talking that's
yeah. If Kershaw can stay healthy, why can't Pineda get his stuff in
of
order?
His game to where he can actually strike people out
and get through 5 innings.
Let me clear that up. He gets a lot of Ks. He strikes out a lot of people, but he also gives up a lot of meatballs.
But here's the thing, too.
And home runs.
How many guys lose the Cy Young and they have the lowest ERA?
I will give you this. Baseball is a game of BABIP and all that. Statistical garbage. A lot of it's useful. But what I'm saying is, I'll give you this on Pineda. Pineda, I think, gave up like a record of runs with 2 outs. He gets some lucky bounces.
Yeah.
Some better defense maybe from the rest of the team, he'll be better than he was last year. But to say he's going to win the Cy Young in a field where I guess there really isn't a clear favorite like a Kershaw.
But if you look at the AL versus the NL every year it's Kershaw, and then it's pretty much you can throw Scherzer, you can throw a dart at the rest.
You know.
The AL, there's no usual big clear favorite.
No, that's actually a very good point.
That's a point, yes.
Yeah, but I
think Sale's gotten chipped out of a lot of Cy Youngs because he's been in Chicago.
See, I think, and I'm a Red Sox fan, I don't think Chris Sale wins it. I'm pretty sure he'll just freak out at one point when they have to wear some old time, jerseys. He'll miss a start or something like that. But I think Corey Kluber's gonna.
I was gonna say I would favor Kluber at this point.
Yeah, I like him. Finished 3rd last year.
Only because he's gonna get a bunch of wins if he leaves the game with a win.
Yeah,
so Andrew Miller's probably coming.
That was the biggest problem with him last year. What was his record last year? I mean,
it wasn't great. He struggled in the opening months in April and May.
Yeah.
He didn't have his greatest stuff, but then he turned it on.
We should make some kind of bets on these shows, like something like a pie bet or something.
You're listening to Sittin Sportside Podcast on ESPN Radio 1045theteam.com. My biggest question right now in all of baseball is, what managers do you think are on the hot seat? I can name 2 of them, and they're both in the same division.
Okay. I can see who's going to win Cy Young. I've never, well, I won't say never, but go ahead. I got nothing in my noggin right now.
Holy, you got anything?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head because, that's usually I don't even start thinking about that until
Melvin out
mid-season.
in Oakland, if he has another bad year, I think Billy Beane, that's his guy. So
I don't know how Billy Beane still has a job.
Oh my gosh.
The guy is terrible.
We can have a whole segment about this, and I'm so opposite of you. It's insane.
Billy Beane actually got himself in trouble by going against what he stands for.
Yeah.
He sold the farm, Addison Russell, Billy McKinney, all these guys, for John Lester, Jeff Samardzija, Jason Hamill, and one wild card game later, and he put himself in a very deep hole.
And he has none of them. He has none of those guys there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I went exactly against what he had done.
Here's what I think, and they're both in the AL East. I'll save my biggest one for last. I think if Buck Showalter and the Orioles don't do anything this year, Buck's gone. And here's why.
Really?
But I don't mean don't do anything. You mean they're just god awful?
I mean,
Or
think
don't make
about
the playoffs?
They don't make the playoffs. Here's why. The Orioles started off really hot every year. The last 4 or 5 years, they started off really hot, and they've missed the playoffs every year. Every year.
They made the playoffs this year.
I don't count the wild card game as making the playoffs.
Does that questionable not putting
So you're saying
the closer in?
they were an Encarnacion 3-run bomb away from officially being in the playoffs.
Yes, and if they actually
counts.
made it out of the wild card game,
the way it is, it counts for me. Like if the Giants lose first round in the NFC, I'm like, oh, he didn't get to the divisional round. They didn't actually make the playoffs.
but the NFL is different to me.
It is different. I agree with you in that it's definitely different.
I
but
actually
I still consider
hate
making the playoffs at this
the
point.
one game playoff. I do.
Bud Selig is probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame this year, so I'm sorry you're gonna have the guy who created that.
The guy's a genius. The guy's a genius. I've never had a problem with Bud Selig.
I think it's great for the sport, though, in the sense that baseball is like this long.
Those are probably the
season.
two of the better games.
Yeah, you're going
of
to
the postseason.
tune into that
Besides the
game.
World Series.
You might not be a fan, but you're going to tune into that game
Right.
because it's
You're
right
gonna
here,
get
right now.
non-baseball fans.
Yeah,
or the casual baseball
exactly.
fan.
Like whoever wins or loses is done. That's why the NFL's got other reasons why it's great.
Listen,
but one, wanna go home.
162 games. You have all 162 games to win your division.
Yeah,
Win your division, man. You don't have to worry about it.
and I bet you you're going to make the argument right now, which I also agree with too. I get it. I understand it. Is that it shouldn't come down to one game when it's a 162 game season.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
but
easy.
It's the thing. I mean, you play 162 games to play one game and you're out. No,
But I'm still
No.
on board with it. They've extended. They've made it. They've expanded it though. So like they're
Here's
giving
my-
those
here's my
teams
major
more of a
argument.
chance.
Here's my major argument. Okay, the Yankees last year, we faced Dallas Keuchel in the one game playoff. Got absolutely destroyed because we faced Dallas Keuchel.
It was 3-0, but we did very bad offense.
Couldn't touch Keuchel.
Right. No, I agree.
I
I'm just
think
saying 3-0
if that was
doesn't
if that was a
qualify
5-game series,
straight to me.
I think they still.
I think we got the
they could
Yankee
beat
fan coming
Astros.
out in you because
So
they're lucky they
you're
were.
mad. You think we should have went on and played the Royals?
I'm not saying we would have beat the Royals last
They
year. I mean, the
would.
Royals were good.
But what
I think the right
If
team
they
won the
didn't-
World Series last year.
if they didn't have that one game playoff? Would the Yankees have had anything to play for?
This is segueing into my
Look
other
how many
manager
teams
who I
have
think
been
should
in
get
it, though,
fired.
in the last couple of years.
I think
that are still
it-
competing.
if it went the other way, I feel like we'd be sitting here and be like, I love it. Yankee, I'm kidding, but I understand your point though. I do. I get it
The
because
one game playoff, regardless of who's in it, just bothers me because you play 162 games to have it come down to one game.
makes me more confident as a Red Sox fan getting Chris Sale now. But just one game talk.
But here's my whole thing. Okay, 162 games to come down to one game and win you're in, lose you're out. Something to me that just you deserve more than one chance to move on, or
I
not.
just think that number just doesn't mean as much as I really think that the people.
I really
think it
wouldn't
does.
mind them saying, okay, you know what,
162,
we'll
it's just-
scale back the regular
It
season.
seems like a lot, but it is. But baseball, that's just kind of how it is. You know,
I think
play
you
a lot of
scale
games.
back.
I don't know.
You scale back the regular season 12 games, make it a 150 game season.
That
Then
makes
you make the playoffs. a little
That's how
longer.
the college football. If we're going to go into what's messed up, the
Roll
college,
Tide.
the college football playoff should do that.
Yes.
But schools need to make more money. That's different.
yeah, another topic for another day. But I like that.
That's what the college football playoff should do. They
Yeah.
should take a page out of what the
MLB's doing.
FCS.
Yeah, well, from a money standpoint, yeah. It's absolutely.
and to answer your question, I don't think Buck Showalter should be fired.
Neither do I. He
We're back
did
on
make a
that.
costly decision though last year.
I'll tell you who
Not
I think
bringing in,
really should be
Britton.
fired if they miss the playoffs
Yeah,
this
you
year.
got another one.
Can I
What do you got?
guess?
Girardi. I'll tell you why. You have a reason why he shouldn't be?
No, I don't. And
I don't think he's that. And I'm a
I've
Red
been
Sox
with-
fan, and I don't
I've
like
been with-
Girardi, but I don't think he should be.
I've
fired.
been in a love-hate relationship with Joe Girardi for now 6 or 7 years now. I have a big problem with treating a lot of games like it's Game 7 of the World Series and maybe over-managing at times. But a lot of times,
See,
it's
I
worked
think
out,
if you
and I
gave
can't
him
complain about it.
7 of the best or 5 of the best relievers in MLB history, the guy could screw it up. If you gave him a bullpen with Rivera, Hoffman, Schmaltz,
Hey, okay.
Eckersley.
Did he have Rivera at one point? He did, right? In 09.
He did.
But
And
no,
it
I'm
was-
saying, but if you give him
In 09. And
Rivera, Hoffman, Schmaltz, Eckersley, Catfish
Fingers?
Hunter or something, Raleigh Fingers in the same bullpen, the guy would screw it up.
Goose Gossett? Did you say Goose Gossett?
Even Goose Scott. Any of them. The guy would screw it up.
See, I think
I don't know.
I think
necessarily
what
agree
happens
with that,
is
but
I think what happens is and it's funny because if we asked an Oakland A's fan to sit down here and say should their head coach get fired,
Do we have any of them in
it
this
would be
building?
hard to find. But if you're listening, we'll see. But just from the standpoint, Yankees, you're expected to win every single year. It
Guess
doesn't
what?
matter what
Guess
stage
what?
you're in.
Guess what? He hasn't blown that streak. He's been over 500 every year.
I think.
Yeah, but he's missed the playoffs 4 straight years.
Well,
I'm including 2015 when the wild card.
That's not
game.
officially true for our listeners out there.
he's just very against the one game playoff.
But to me, that's not the
Salty.
playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I get your point, though. What you're saying.
All right, here, let's do it this way. His first year was 2008. They missed the playoffs. 09, they won the World Series. 10
pretty good turnaround.
ALCS.
Pretty good.
11 ALCS.
Pretty good.
Or was it 11? 12 was the ALDS.
Pretty
No,
good.
12 they got to the LCS. And
Was it 11
and
the
Jeter went
DS?
down. Jeter went down in 2012.
Yeah, that's right, because that was Detroit, right?
Yes.
So 11 was the DS, 12 was the CS. 13 missed the playoffs, 14 missed the playoffs, 15 one-game playoff, 16 missed the playoffs. There's more years. He's missed the playoffs more years than he's made the playoffs.
Yeah. And Joe Madden, how many times did he make the playoffs?
Yeah, but what coach are you going to find that's better than Joe Girardi right now, anyways?
Here's my question. I think Girardi is one of the biggest jokes in MLB history. The guy won Manager of the Year with the Marlins, and they were under 500.
What does that? Doesn't that show you that he was a good manager?
But then, how do you finish under 500 and win Manager of the Year?
Because he overachieved dramatically with that team.
Didn't they still have Miggy then that year in 06?
No.
I thought it was 07. I thought it was 07 he went to.
Because that was with, Miggy was gone.
Him and the D Train.
Yeah, the D Train
They
was
were
gone.
gone.
God, he was so exciting to watch, but that's none of that.
So unfortunate.
but I see.
You mean on Fox Sports 1?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Girardi should get fired. If he had an absolutely atrocious season, yes. But it's not like last year the Yankees shouldn't have even been in contention with that team, right? I mean, we can honestly sit here
They
and say,
weren't until they got rid of Miller and
But
And
I'm with
Chapman.
Hogan in this sense.
yeah, but they got there. They ended up getting to that point where they could be in contention. And they almost, just like you said, they got to a one-game playoff, 1 game away from facing the Royals, right? I mean,
fair enough.
Right.
and this offseason, they haven't done anything to hurt their chances. They just got Chapman back.
I'm with Hogan in this in the sense of who are you going to get, and if you have an idea, then I'm fine. Okay, if you know exactly who you want, go after.
I
him,
got two
get rid
names,
of him.
two names on top of my head, and I will say this
He
because
can't prepared.
I never wanted Girardi. As a Yankee fan, I never wanted Girardi.
You wanted Mattingly?
I wanted either Donnie Baseball or Willie Randolph.
Really, Randolph shouldn't be out of baseball.
The biggest joke in the world is that the way he got fired, which is
Mets?
why
Oh,
I have
gosh.
no respect for the Mets.
Oh.
And I'm a Yankee fan. If you told me right now to pick, if I had to root for one team, either the Red
So
Sox
those
or
are
the
the two
Mets.
you want? Is that who you're picking? For
Yeah.
The names? Those are the two names?
Yeah.
Well, Don's got his job.
I mean, I like
Don's not- I don't
what
think Don's
he's
leaving.
doing in Miami. Okay, but if you're gonna tell me if
Don's job got a
you're
whole lot
Donnie
harder
Baseball,
in
Well,
unfortunate
yeah,
circumstances,
unfortunately,
but-
yeah.
if you're Donnie Baseball and you're managing the Marlins and Cashman calls, hey,
I
Are you
agree.
willing to
If
talk?
you're telling me that Cashman wants to get Mattingly, I agree. Mattingly probably lose the job, and he's
I talk. Willie Randolph is
Although,
a
I don't
much
know, how does
better
Mattingly
manager
feel?
than everybody
How
thinks
does
he is.
Mattingly feel
I was about to
about
say,
the Yankees?
Mattingly, I don't
He
think
was
he has
very
a.
upset
There's
when
a
they
sour
decided-
taste.
That should have been his job.
Yeah, but
I don't think you're getting him
so at
back.
This point, would he really want to come back? I mean, I think when you play your whole career in New York, I think at some point you'll probably forgive and let the
Forgive
fans
and forget.
The fans will love you. You might have sour grapes with Cashman, but the fans will
You know what though? Will they forget? Because Yankee fans and even Red
We're not gonna
Sox
get mad
fans.
at Mattingly though.
Oh, I know until he starts losing, right?
I mean, look at the Red
And
Sox.
those in the Red Sox,
They were
Yankees,
still
and those
sour
kind
about
of
Buckner for how many years?
Yeah, we got people like Mike.
that wasn't Buckner's fault.
Don't wrap me into that Yankee fan club. That might be more people like Mike.
I don't know. It just feels like you're not going to find anyone better right now out there to
My
replace
last word
him.
on this is don't really know, I guess. Because I agree with you. There's certain points where I'm watching, he just drives me nuts in the way he uses his bullpen. Not sure I could go as far as if he had the best 5 relievers ever, he would ruin that bullpen because he did a pretty good job with some bad teams.
There are times
last year he got them in the he kept them good even though it was all Gary Sanchez. We know that.
Yeah,
But he kept them in there down the stretch. That's not just Gary
There are
Sanchez.
times
He
where
was
I'm going-
a huge part of it, probably 80% of it.
Literally going, okay, great job, good, smart decision. There are times I'm going.
Tyler Clippard and Adam Warren came in and did. They had some pretty darn good numbers. I think that has.
Tell you
some
that
kind of
bullpen
credence
this
to-
year looks scary.
I mean, look at it. The Yankees got rid of
Scary.
Chapman, Miller last year, and they still got to the point where they were.
Right.
They were supposed to be done, and they were in a one-game
Beltran.
playoff. Yeah, it's like,
And Beltran was their best hitter.
And Ivan Nova, and if you want to keep adding names,
yeah. I mean,
Well,
I think that's a
I'm
pretty
just
good
saying.
job.
Ray Searage, the magic
Yeah.
maker in Pittsburgh, right?
If you're Cy Young pitcher
All right.
for
Do we have
the
another
AL,
topic? Or is that it?
I think
I
that's.
was going to touch on Gary Sanchez and I
All
think
right.
he
Let's
keep
do
it up.
brought
I think
Gary
We
Sanchez?
gotta talk
yeah,
about this.
we'll wrap it up after Gary.
Gary is scary.
Speaking of which, I want to get John Sterling in here one day to give us a little insight going into next year. That'd be fun. But I think, what do you guys think? I think Gary, I think he's going to be okay. I think my biggest concern with him, as crazy as it sounds, is his arm. Because he's got no accuracy.
Wait, you have a concern with it?
He has no accuracy. But he makes up for the accuracy with the strength, because how many times last year did we see him throw a guy out and he was way off a target, but Didi and Starlin both made up for it?
Javier Baez and Gary Sanchez combination.
I mean,
Sanchez just throws it hard. Gary, just throw as hard as you can, and Baez will find it and tag him.
See, I like Gary Sanchez. I think he's going to regress a little bit. In the point of
you think he's gonna regress?
well, yeah, I mean he's got to, but
I'm not saying he's going to go out and hit 350 with 47 home runs and 143 RBIs, but I think he's 270.
I gotta tell you though,
You know how to
30
get him
and
out though. High
100.
fastball. He'll chase it. 0-2 pitch.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. He'll chase that high fastball.
if you're
The
worse,
one thing I like though, he won't chase him low. He'll chase him high, but he won't chase him low.
if
You
your
ever
worst,
notice that?
if your worst problem is his arm though, his accuracy, I feel like that's something that's more
But the thing is, though,
easily attainable to
his
fix.
arm
Man, like
is
imagine,
so strong.
well, imagine if it wasn't strong though.
Are you
know
upset?
what I mean?
Personally, I'm a little upset that they just got rid of McCann because I think that, in a way, he could have been.
I think he
I love
needed
who
the
they brought in to
the
replace him, in
mentorship
way.
a little
like
more.
Matt Holliday, I love that 1-year deal, but
He needed the mentorship. I think.
right, I feel like to give him 100% of the reps or 85%.
I think
reps,
you
it's a little
can't.
scary. I agree.
I think you should have kept McCann. You sign
No pun
Holiday for
intended.
sure.
Scary.
Yeah,
You for surely sign Holiday. That's a smart deal.
Yeah, 1 year.
But you
DH.
keep McCann just to keep Gary in line. Not that I'm, just to. I mean,
And
Austin
for all intents
Romine's
and
going to be his
purposes-
backup next year. That scares me to death because Austin Romine is terrible, terrible. The guy can't hit. The only good thing I've ever seen Austin Romine do, and I was
Austin,
at Yankee
if you're
Stadium when this
listening,
happened.
I like you, man, and you had,
Yeah, because
some
Austin Romine's really
you had
listening.
some nice hits in your career. He had a couple big hits.
The craziest thing, the only good thing I've ever seen Austin Romine do, and I was at this game at Yankee Stadium, was Yankees Red Sox.
Didn't have a big hit.
It was a wild pitch. Okay, Pedroia was standing on third. The ball ricocheted off the backstop, right back to Romine, and Pedroia tried to jump over the top of Romine, and he just went tagged him, reached up and tagged him in midair. The only good thing I've ever seen Romine do.
do you really need to have a good backup catcher?
No, you don't.
You know what I mean?
You really
Like,
don't.
I'm trying to think of like
When's the last time a backup catcher has just been like, you know what? It's game 2 of the
last
of the World Series.
well the last
one
one I think was David,
All right,
David
okay.
Ross.
But let's think about the 09 Yankees.
that's
The 09
different,
Yankees.
though.
That's completely different. That's what I mean. No, it's like I
That's
feel
like
like
a
you don't
design
need to
backup.
worry that much.
But
About
we had Jose Molina was supposed out as backup in 09. That worked out.
yeah, it worked out. I'm
Worked
not
out,
saying if you gave me the option if I could have a good backup catcher or not, I would take it.
He's
Obviously,
good
but I'm
enough.
saying if Gary Sanchez is going to be as good as what's expected, He'll be fine. Because you're gonna. Let me ask you this: would you rather next year see Brian McCann on the field the majority of the time, or Gary Sanchez?
Sanchez, hands down.
Okay, get rid of Brian McCann.
Close.
There's no reason.
Yeah,
I know the mentorship that you guys are saying.
I personally like getting rid of McCann. I would have lost sleep if we kept him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. I just think I understand the whole point of mentorship, and you want him there, and especially since it's that position, it's might be the most important position on the field per se. I just don't need I don't need a backup catcher for that reason. Right. I don't. I feel like we fall too far into that. Sometimes.
My problem, I'll set it up like this: McCann could have been the DH, and then
okay, you could have shifted him.
So you didn't necessarily need to bring him out Holiday. As much as I love that move, okay.
Yeah.
2 problems with the trade. First one is what you got for it: lottery tickets. They could work out, they might not.
Yep.
Right. So you didn't really get a significant, or I wouldn't, definite haul, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2, the team we traded him to, the Houston Astros, probably be one of the, besides the Red Sox, probably be one of the biggest thorns in your side in terms of American League competitors, and then you have the Indians as well. Because what do they need? They needed a catcher. They also go after Josh Reddick, and guess what? Carlos Correa is also going to keep developing, and George Springer. And do I even keep going?
Jose Altuve even too.
Altuve, I mean, he's one of the best. He had the best season out of all.
Yeah,
Alex Bregman.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. You traded him to a team that could potentially hurt you big time.
100%. When I saw the Astros, I was like, they already beat us in the
How are
wild
the
card
Astros
game.
actually not the favorites to win the AL this year? Off that, I mean,
their pitching
that's
staff
what they were
wasn't-
missing. They needed that leadership, and they got the
But
leadership.
Dallas wasn't that great last year.
Dallas wasn't great. McCullers went down.
Yeah,
I think Keuchel was a one-hit wonder that year. I mean, he did not have a terrible year last year, but if you look at his Cy Young year compared to last year, it was a bad year. But that's just going off of his Cy Young year. But if you look at what he did before his Cy Young, last year was on par.
This is why I have trouble with your AL Cy Young choice right now. It's just like, just the opposite kind
You
of.
think Keuchel's going to turn it around with McCann?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I don't know if he's going to be the most dominant pitcher in the AL again, but I think he'll be a guy that can be considered a number 1 in their rotation. Mm-hmm. And that's all you're expecting out of him. It's not like when the Astros.
I think McCullers might end up being their best pitcher.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Right.
It's pretty solid.
Keuchel's been pretty solid, yeah. And you got McHugh,
Yeah, and
Musgrove.
If they're
coming on,
pitching
maybe.
staff-
McCullers will come back.
Right.
if they stay healthy and they can just be decent, that lineup is just
It's
God.
going to be very, very good. McCann's probably your 6th.
If you ask me, they could hands down
lower.
have the best middle infield in all of baseball.
I don't think there is a better. And I'm a Red Sox fan. I love Bogarts
especially
and I love
AJ
Pedroia.
Reed.
Not even close.
Because their first base, if AJ Reed, he really didn't do well when he came up. But if AJ Reed hits at first base, and we know based on his
I
numbers,
love Castro and Didi up the middle as a Yankee fan, but there is no better middle infield than what Houston has. I mean, Correa, 20 home runs a year. Altuve is going to be popping 20 home runs a year, and they're just ridiculous up the middle, and they're both quick as all can be. I was going to use the word. I wasn't quite sure if I could go there, but
you can. I mean, I've heard the guys say it, but I agree.
They said words.
That's why I'm like the McCann trade to me was like trade him to an NL team. Like you trade him back to the Braves. Okay, the Braves might actually be.
That was the actual first
rumor.
rumor.
Maybe they
worry
would
about
have given
that.
up more, and you don't have to worry about them coming back to
Why
bite
are the
you.
Braves trading to even be in contention?
The Braves, they're going for it.
I know. And
They're going for it.
The new stadium. Their new stadium.
New stadium, right? They're opening a new stadium, so they feel like they have to be competitive.
Yeah.
Not the greatest logic, but I get
But
it.
it's in the end, it's for money.
And look, who they bring in? They brought in Bartolo Colon and Ari Dickey, two of the oldest pitchers out
Yeah,
there. I mean,
I love Colon. If they can both just do solid, I guess, and then you got Julio,
Right.
who, oh my God, one of the most underrated pitchers. You don't hear about him because his
Right.
win-loss record is like 8-8 every year.
Yeah,
because
doesn't get
ERA is like below a 3. Strikeouts are insane.
you know, and you know what, Freddie Freeman. I felt bad for him when they traded everybody except for him.
Yeah, except for Freddie.
As long as they get win,
he's a
winning
good
again,
centerpiece to build around, though. I like Freddie
Yeah.
Freeman. He's a solid player, and they could surely build around.
So
Do they still have
if
Simmons?
we want to circle around to the Mets here.
Oh no, they traded Anderson Simmons. That's right,
Yeah,
to
to the
Washington.
Angels. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh no, that's right.
Angels.
Yeah, the
They
Angels.
got Sean
to the
Newcomb, and he may or may not be up. He might be on the block for the Braves as well. But I think the Phillies. If you want to circle back to the Mets, the Phillies are eventually going to be pretty good. So I think the Mets, as good as the Mets are still going to be the next 5 years, I personally believe, especially we still have questions about their pitching staff, but that division could be very good. Maybe that's why the Nationals did trade for Adam. You know, I'm starting to get it a little bit more. Yeah, now. Because I still don't agree with it because Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez and even Dane Dunn, the third guy,
they're one pitcher.
Like those easy wins
down the road
now,
as well. But
it's a good point because those easy wins against the Phillies and stuff now are not as easy.
Yeah,
I think they're one starter away from being legit.
Who, the Phillies?
Nationals. The Nationals. I mean, you got.
Why couldn't it have been Lucas Giolito then? You know what I'm saying?
But you know,
right? I mean, Lucas Giolito, he struggled in the majors.
Here's my thing.
But
you got Scherzer, you got Gio. Okay. The more I think about Strasburg, I don't know.
Maybe they'll just bring Doug Fister back. I mean, Doug Fister was pretty solid in Washington.
Yeah, he was a good pitcher. I like Doug Fister.
Right
now, he's out there. He's there's a couple pitchers still out there, but Doug Fister would be.
I want the Yankees to give him a chance, but.
What if they make? I think if they get Quintana somehow from Chicago, because Quintana,
I thought it was a mistake.
Quintana's gonna get moved.
When I saw it on my phone, I was like, "Oh, they got Quintana too," because there's no way it was just Eaton.
Yeah, it's.
But do they have enough? They're gonna trade Robles now.
I mean, Quintana is going to get moved.
If you're gonna trade that for Eaton, what would you have to trade to get him?
He's got so much control, right? Quintana has way too much control to get moved.
To get traded. Yeah,
he was almost
for less than what.
He was almost a Yankee
to the Nationals. The Yankees are giving up that much.
No, he was almost a Yankee a week ago.
If I almost mean he was considered to being traded, then yes, almost. But no, the Yankees.
They couldn't work the deal out to make it work.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why Quintana is not a Yankee.
Clint Frazier in there, which
he's not worth.
Yeah, no, you're not never.
He's not worth all that to me, personally.
Right? No, exactly. Which is why Castro's not going to do that.
I think you guys are in agreement here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Great show today. It was our first show.
Definitely. I think it went well.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. You can stay tuned for more podcasts on 1045theteam.com. This has been Sittin Sportside. For Mike James, Matt Hogan, I'm Eric Hannmann. Stay classy.